A 19-year-old girl was found dead in the freezer. The hotel is affiliated with the police department. The hotel bio research place is affiliated. The crematory place is affiliated. Everything that about that hotel is affiliated with that police department in Rosemont. They have the same address. 2 live videos that was posted by those 2 people that's affiliated in gangs, posted live videos in details about what happened to Kenneka, what was going to happen to Kenneka. All that's facts to the case. Everything else is images, is made up, said, and everything. Y'all people have to understand. Y'all got to figure out what's true and what's fake. And even the fake shit, I keep telling y'all over and over, the fake stuff also is telling us the real deal.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Edward Joseph, and let's talk live. Kenneka Jenkins and Zahrie Walls. All right, let's talk. Well, today, peoples, has been such an interesting day. I am here. I am back live, and I am going to talk about some things, peoples. Peoples, Kenneka Jenkins and Zahrie Walls. You guys come on in. You guys come on in. You guys come on in, for there's so much to talk about, peoples. You guys come on in. Peoples, I am here and I am back, and I am back to talk about the Kenneka Jenkins case. And so, peoples, I'm here to give my spill upon the Zahrie Walls case. Now, there has been stated, peoples, that Zahrie Walls had something to do with Kenneka Jenkins' death. And so, people are entitled to their opinions. Everybody's entitled. And I'm not here to try to battle anybody's narrative. I'm just only here to give you that of what my findings is when it comes down to Zahrie Walls. Now, peoples, from my understanding is simply this. Zahrie Walls was Kenneka Jenkins' best friend. She was Kenneka Jenkins' best friend. And it's just like that saying goes, friends, how many of us have them? Friends, the one you can depend on. Let's be friends. Now, friends, how many of us have them? Friends, the ones you can depend on. Let's be friends. Now, peoples, let's see if in this particular live, can we depend upon a friend named Zahrie Walls? Now, peoples, you guys be the judge. You guys be the judge as to what you think happened between Zahrie Walls and Kenneka Jenkins. Now, I haven't seen anything publicly that there was a breakup for them to make up. But the thing is, peoples, is that many people feel that Zahrie Walls was unalive because of the Kenneka Jenkins case. Now, I do believe that Zahrie Walls was unalive. And I don't give 2 rats asses what her mama says, and she can go ahead and she can post up all of the beautiful pictures and everything like that. But see, I think where she felt was she did not have the people investigate her daughter's death, and she took it as a tragic accident. Another TM who said that nothing happened to my daughter, but yet we found out that something happened to her supposed daughter. And so I can't take for face value for what these women say, peoples. I just got to give it to you raw and uncut for what I believe. Now, my opinion don't hold no weight, but my narrative, I believe, does. I said my narrative, I believe, does, but that, again, is just my opinion. Do you understand what I'm saying, peoples? And so for Zahrie's mother not to pursue anything in her daughter's death raises my eyebrows and it makes my hair stand up on the back of my head because, for the simple fact, peoples, I don't understand for the likes of me how Zaria Walls and Kenneka Jenkins' death can be ruled a tragic accident. I just don't understand that, peoples. But again, you be the judge. You be the judge, peoples. I can only present to you my facts as I find them. But I see my peoples had came in, so let me go ahead and give a shout out. Hello, Randall Robinson. How are you, my friend? It is a blessing to see you on today. Randall Robinson said, salute. Hello, Zenobia. Wow, Crockett. It is a blessing to see you on today. Zenobia has says, wow, that is interesting. Hello, Trish Hollywood. How are you, ma'am? It is a blessing to see you on today. Trish Hollywood says, hey, Edward and chat. And then Randall Robinson has says, I, on my other phone, I can't see other messages. Salute everyone. And so that is who came in on today. And then I see that the new people is coming in. Blessings to see your return on today. I am happy to have you guys back with us to see another round of the Kenneka Jenkins case. Now, if you're not too mean, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel and make sure that Edward Joseph Let's Talk Live is your new home. Is that all right, peoples? All right, so peoples, let's get into this live on today. Kenneka Jenkins and Zahrie Walls. Let's go.
Well, safety on the lake is a major concern right now as we face that blistering hot day ahead of us across the whole area.
Hi, good morning. Good to be with both of you. Yeah, with the extreme heat, people are flocking to the lakefront. No surprise there. That trend expected to continue as we approach more into those 90-degree temperatures that Laura was just talking about. And then at Navy Pier, 27-year-old Zahrie Walls fell off a boat. The U.S. Coast Guard found her about 1.5 miles offshore, pulled her in, but sadly she later died at an area hospital. But the safety advocates here in the city of Chicago say that they responded to at least a dozen water rescues and possible drownings, including at Navy Pier, 63rd Street Beach, and at the Playpen.
Concerns. Others say they were just happy to know she was alive. But it wrote, I'm okay. And then she wrote, I never went through nothing like this before since I lost my first best friend in 2016. But to lose a friend, a sister, this shit hit different. I don't wish this shit on nobody. Then she wrote, my Zah. She was just saying how she wanted to show up more for us. It's craziest how life worked. These past few weeks, she been calling every day. I can hear her now. JoJo, I'm back. And then she wrote, Zah, for you, I'm crying bad. Can't take it. Now, when rumors was going around that no one helped Zah, someone that spoke up, but it wasn't her friend. In fact, it was someone who, according to her post, didn't even know Zah, which made more people run with the narrative that her friends had allegedly left her. The girl wrote, I hate y'all. Yes, the F we did try to help her. We threw in the rope, a vest and all. 2 of us off the boat jumped in and tried their hardest. We tried. Them waves, bad and happy. We thought about everybody. We were risking our lives for her and don't even know her. Yeah, I never experienced death. I'm grown. I ain't hurt. I cried for that girl. I hate y'all. For some strange reason, people kept putting the two together with Kenneka.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Edward Joseph, and Let's Talk Live. Kenneka Jenkins and Zaria Walls. All right, let's talk. Well, today, peoples, has been such an interesting day. I'm here, I am live, and I am going to talk about some things, peoples. Peoples, Kenneka Jenkins and Zaria Walls. You guys come on in. You guys come on in. You guys come on in, for there's so much to talk about, peoples. You guys come on in. Peoples, I am here and I am back. I am here to talk about the Kenneka Jenkins case and the Zaria Walls case, peoples. Peoples, I am very disturbed. I'm very disturbed because on last night, I've sat back just a little while to see what was happening on the YouTube streets. And there was a content creator that was on there that had talked about this Kenneka Jenkins case forever and a day. And it's amazing, peoples, that this particular content creator had tried to merge Kenneka Jenkins and Zaria Walls together. This content creator had sat here and literally said that Zaria Walls played Kenneka Jenkins in the Kenneka Jenkins case. That Zaria Walls was the one who had walked the halls of that establishment. That's what this content creator had said, peoples. Now, after over 7 long years, I have heard this content creator go round and around and around about he has the proof, he has the truth about the Kenneka Jenkins case, and that he knows everything and that he solved the case and things. But yet and still, how hilarious and nefarious one can be when they say that Zaria Walls was the one who had played Kenneka Jenkins in the Kenneka Jenkins case. That Zaria Walls was the one who had walked the halls of that establishment, peoples. That Zaria Walls had set up her friend, Kenneka Jenkins. Zaria Walls, the one who had Kenneka tattooed on her chest. The one who had told you, peoples, that she was going to go to the movies with Kenneka. The one who had literally stayed at Kenneka's house for some time. The best friend, Zaria Walls. Now, I've heard many talk about this King Rob and Chosen King person who had pretty much was supposed to have called out Zaria Walls, peoples, and said that the best friend set her up. But help me to make that make sense, people. Help me to make that make sense. Zaria Walls was not at the establishment. I said Zaria Walls was not at the establishment at the time to when Kenneka Jenkins met her demise, peoples. She was not there. Zaria Walls was the one who had called out the hilarious and nefarious. Zaria Walls called out Irene, Shemaya, and Bree. And she told Monifa, I will talk to you later offline, because she didn't want to say anything online for all of you YouTubers and Facebookers and agitators and instigators to come and take that type of content and then twist it around to your nefarious reasonings. Now, peoples, nobody knew unequivocally and undeniably that Zaria Walls was the best friend. Everybody thought that it was Shemaya, Monifa, and Irene that was the best friend. But see, I surmise to you peoples that Shemaya, Monifa, and Irene never had Kenneka's name tattooed nowhere on their person, peoples. Nowhere on their person, peoples. The only one who had the tattooed on their person was Zaria Walls, peoples. It was Zaria Walls, peoples, who had Kenneka's name tattooed on her chest. And so Zaria Wall's people was Kenneka Jenkins' best friend. Now, help me to make that make sense, people. So now I know we got some hilarious and nefarious people out here who just wants to go and spin a narrative about Zaria Walls because she's no longer here and she's no longer here to defend herself. And now a lot of stuff is coming out, and now everybody wants to go and everybody wants to implicate Zaria Walls. But I, Edward Joseph, will not allow that to happen, peoples. I said, I, Edward Joseph, will not allow that to happen, peoples. Because, see, contrary to belief, peoples, it doesn't matter what you say or what you think. Again, I can go back in history and I can go back and pull up the hilarious and nefarious madness that many of you YouTubers and Facebookers has been speaking about this case. And so you don't want to get me started, peoples. I said, you don't want to get Edward Joseph started, peoples. Because see, the thing is, we're going to put some respect upon this case. I said, we're going to put some respect upon this case. We're not going to sit around here and use this young lady as clout bait and as clickbait and trying to implicate this girl into something where she had no knowledge of, peoples. Not Zaria Walls, peoples. Now, I understand that she may had her differences with the people and things, and I do understand what the mother had said and stuff that, you know, it was a lot of people who didn't like her daughter. And okay, well, it's a lot of people who don't like me, but that's okay, peoples, because Edward Joseph really don't give two rats asses whether you like me or whether you don't. Because at the end of the day, peoples, I am going to be here and I am going to shoot my shot regardless of whether you like it or not. And so, peoples, put some respect upon the young lady's name. Because, see, you have no proof to your so-called truth. All you can do is just sit up here and flap your little black gums and then instigate and agitate a situation that had nothing to do with this young lady. Now, she had nothing to do with the analyzation of Kenneka Jenkins. Now, there has been talk that she was the one who had made up Kenneka's hair in the freezer. I mean, people's, how stupid is that? She was the one who was supposed to have done Kenneka's makeup in the freezer. How stupid is that, peoples? We're going to go back, peoples. We're going to go back, and we're going to go back in history. We're going to go back in time, and we're going to go back, and we're going to look at the original photos of Kenneka Jenkins inside the freezer, peoples. Inside the freezer. And I want you to tell me, peoples, if Kenneka Jenkins had her face made up while she was lying dormant inside a freezer. I mean, just the stupidity that the things that the people conjure up and think of, people. So, I mean, you know, it's one thing to talk about this case, but it's another thing to be so outrageous, hilarious, and nefarious. You know, it's one thing to be so hilarious and nefarious. And then what's amazing is that the people come and they play with that madness and they believe that madness. And so the people who has been sitting here endorsing this content creator's narrative, they're stupid. I mean, every last one of them in that chat is stupid. And there was some people who are politic with. And yes, you're stupid, because if you're going to sit and you're going to endorse a narrative that Zaria Walls had made up Kenneka's face while she lay in the freezer, you literally have to be stupid. Literally. And I'm not just going. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, peoples. You know, whether you're politic with me or not, yes, you are stupid. Because anybody who sat here and who believed that Zaria Walls had put makeup on this young lady, put some eyelashes on her, and then did her hair. I mean, people, that is an insult to the various things that this young lady has done in life. Zaria Walls. Now, if anything, she would have had her hair pressed down, ironed flat, with some bangs and some curls and things. But does this look like the work of Zaria Walls, peoples? I really don't give two rats asses what King Rob and Chosen King had said. Because at the end of the day, peoples, you got to help me to make this make sense. This doesn't make no sense. Why Zaria Walls would put any type of blush, makeup, or anything while this girl lie dormant in a hotel freezer. And if any of you suckers ever believe this madness, I'm going to call you a sucker, and I'm going to call you hilarious and nefarious, and I'm going to call you stupid. Because if you ever sat here and endorsed this madness, you are stupid. You're stupid. Peoples. Zaria Walls did not put no makeup on Kenneka Jenkins in a freezer. She didn't. You have no proof that she did. And the only thing that you can say is that she did, but you have absolutely, unequivocally, and undeniably no proof whatsoever. And to sit back and to give that type of narrative, that is so stupid, people. Let's look at this. What type of makeup would she have done to Kenneka? So basically what you're saying is that Zaria Walls had implicated herself in the analyzation of Kenneka Jenkins, that she was a part of the conspiracy. Peoples, why would anybody who wears the name Kenneka on their chest will go ahead and unalive her friend? Why would that happen, peoples? Why would that happen? Why would anybody would want to go and take part in the analyzation of her friend when she had her name tattooed on her chest? And then she wore the same type of ring as Kenneka. I said she wore the same type of ring as Kenneka, peoples. And so what we're going to do, people, is what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to go on Zaria Wall's channel. And so let me go there right quick, peoples, and I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to take a look at something, people. So let me go to Zaria Wall's channel on Facebook. And we're going to take a look at something, peoples. I said, we're going to take a look at something, peoples. Is that all right, peoples? We're going to take a look at Zaria Wall's channel, and we're going to take a look at something because, see, the thing is, peoples, you know, when stupid people want to go ahead and want to start to criticize this girl for something that they have no proof, then it's my job to go ahead and call them out. I said it's my job to go ahead and call them out, peoples. Is that all right, peoples? You know, now, contrary to myth and contrary to what your belief is, peoples, it doesn't make no sense for her to go ahead and post something like this on her page and be a part of the analyzation of Kenneka. So instead of doing it like this, people, so let me share my screen a different way because this is showing a little small. So I want to make sure that I can be able to blow up the page and things so you guys can clearly see. So let me share my screen this way. But before I go into this, peoples, I see my peoples came in. Hello, Tidbits with Christian. How are you, ma'am? It is a blessing to see you on tonight. Tidbit with Christian said, good evening, Mr. Edward. All right, peoples. I am here. I am live. And I am going to piss off a lot of people. And so my thing is this. If you're going to come into this live, and if you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine. But you better come in, and you better come in with the right attitude. And you better come in respectful. Is that all right, peoples? Because if you don't, I'm going to eject your ass for all eternity. Now, I think my moderators probably be asleep. That's fine. But I'm here. And I'm the captain of the ship. And if I see any hilarious or nefarious postings in my live, I'm going to eject your ass. I don't need negativity in my live, peoples. Now, it's okay that you can come in and you disagree with what I'm saying. You know, we can have a good, wholesome conversation. I even go ahead and put the link in so you can come to the chat. Come to the panel and talk with me and things. If you have a disagreement with me or whatever the case may be. But do not come into this live with any hilarious and nefarious bullshit or nonsense. Is that okay, peoples? Your ass will get ejected with the quickness. I'm not tolerating no mess, madness, or confusion in my lives, peoples. Now, if you don't like what I say, you ain't got to watch me. Stay on those other people's channel and stay there. You don't have to be here. Nobody called you here. I don't need you here. Is that all right, peoples? All right, people. So let's dive in and let's take a look at this peoples, because see, the hilarious and nefarious says that Zahrie Walls had something to do with the analyzation of Kenneka Jenkins, and peoples, that is so far from the truth. It is so far from the truth. It is just crazy to even contemplate that this young lady had anything to do with Kenneka's death, or even put makeup on her while she was deceased. You guys hold on for one moment. Okay, people, so I am back. And so this is a post that Zahrie Walls had made up on her channel. And it was dated March the 19th, 2019, peoples. And it says, this make it feel fresh all over. I love you, Nene. And I'm sorry this happened. Wish I could have been there. And that's what Zahrie Walls had said, peoples. She said that this make it fresh all over. I love you, Nene. And I'm so sorry this happened. Wish I could have been there. And people, I should surmise that if Zahrie Walls was there at the establishment with Kenneka Jenkins, Kenneka Jenkins would have never, ever been in this type of situation whatsoever, period. Period. Because she wouldn't have played with her friend. And she wouldn't have allowed none of this madness to happen to Kenneka. And so for anybody to sit here and say that Zaria Walls had anything to do with Kenneka Jenkins' death, it's just crazy and unconscionable to me, peoples. My stance is simply this: prove your stance. Prove it. Prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Don't go and just take the video and stuff, and because this girl had died, and because of King Rob had said something about Zaria, that now all of a sudden now we finally and clearly see that the person walking the halls of that establishment is Zaria Walls. That's bullshit, peoples. It is pure D bullshit. And I've been calling this hilarious and nefarious madness out forever and a day. The girl don't even remotely look like Zaria Walls, peoples. I said the girl who had walked the halls of that establishment do not remotely look like Zaria Walls people. She doesn't. And so, you know, it's a play. It's a play that these YouTubers are doing because this girl is deceased now, you know. And so now, you know, oh yeah. Now we see and now we know who the person is and stuff. Bullshit. And the person who I'm talking about is Trey Gay, the thunder ass, the thunder booty, the one who proclaims that God speaks to him and things, but God don't speak to a gay ass man who likes men's ass. See, he wasn't mesmerized by Zaria Wall's ass because Zaria Wall had ass. Unequivocally and undeniably, peoples. Zaria Wall had ass. And Trey Gay was not, and he couldn't get up by looking at Zaria Wall's ass. And so now he has a certain thing about Zaria. Because now he wants to sit up here and he wants to talk bad about this girl's name. And wants to try to defame her in such a manner and say, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was Zaria, the one who walked the halls of that establishment. Now I know. Peoples, how long has this sucker been talking about the Kenneka Jenkins case? How long? He's been talking about it for 7 years, making live after live after live after live after live, and literally going around in circles and stuff and implicating a lot of people who never had anything to do with this case. And it's amazing that many of you people sit here and follow him and watch him and stuff and then believe that madness. And then y'all believe that Trey Gay had solved the case. Bullshit. Trey Gay hasn't solved anything, because if Trey Gay had solved anything, well, then the case wouldn't have been in the status that is in now. But see, Trey Gay don't even know his head from his ass. You know, he doesn't. And so Trey Gay may have some videos and, you know, all like this and stuff, but I've said mine to you peoples. It has literally been hundreds of YouTubers who have proclaimed that they know everything that happened to Kenneka. And everybody has been spinning a narrative about Kenneka. But yet, when you really go and deep dive into all of this madness, you got to ask the question, peoples. And the question is simply this: what ulterior motive would all of these people have to unalive Kenneka? What is it that Kenneka Jenkins has done to all of these people that Trey Gay tries to bring up in his lives and talk about? I mean, the man is basically saying that this was a major conspiracy. That all of these people came together to unalive just one little black girl. So then the question would be, peoples, what was so special about Kenneka Jenkins that, all of these people had to come together and play and unalive this girl? For what purpose? For what reason? And then what did they get out of it? See, these are the questions that I ask people, and these are the things that Trey Gay cannot ever answer. You can sit up here and you can play with this case forever and a day and things and stuff, but see, you can't answer the question. You can come up with the conspiracy theories and you can talk about this case and you can flip videos around and you can, have innuendos and, say this and say that and the other. But at the end of the day, why would all of these people would ever come together to try to unalive Kenneka Jenkins? Do he even know who Kenneka Jenkins was, peoples? To be able to sit here and ever talk about her? Now, see, he was a TM's booty kisser. He was an ass licker. He loved Miss Teresa, as he called her. Miss Teresa this, Miss Teresa that. Miss Teresa, in his eyes, could not do no wrong, peoples. Miss Teresa. But Miss Teresa had fooled his ass because Miss Teresa had ended up getting millions behind this case. Oh, yes, she did. I said, yes, she did. And so you got to ask the question, peoples. And see, this is what I've always asked everybody. Now, I never watched King Rob's videos. I don't know what the brother said. I don't know what he did. I do know he was at the establishment. I do know that. And it has been said that he had stated a lot of things and stuff in this case and whatnot. But then we have to take a retrospective look at what King Rob had said, peoples. Because see, the thing is, King Rob ain't as squeaky clean. Now that black nigga can sit up here and he can talk his shit and he can go ahead and threaten all of the people and stuff. He can think that he's a badass and the police ain't gonna do nothing to him and all like that and stuff. But see, that's just a Chicago thing. Because he's a black, ugly nigga that's in Chicago with some yellow eyes and talking shit. He's on his turf. Yeah, so he's gonna talk shit. All of them talk shit, peoples, until they get caught up into something. And then now what they're going to do? Now they're going to spend quite considerable amount of time in jail or probably for the rest of their lives. And so what? You're going to talk shit behind bars and things? Everybody talks shit, peoples. And so he's up here threatening TM and Lenore and, all like this and so on and so forth. He made all of these lives and things that I've never even watched, because see, the thing is, what is it that King Rob can tell Edward Joseph? See, he can sit up here and he can talk about X, Y, and Z, this and that and the other and so on and so forth. But then my question is simple. What validity out of the stupidity that King Rob had said that ever really surfaced in this case? Because from what I hear, this man has just been talking out the side of his neck. And he was mad at something, but see, he's a part of the organization. So you stupid people have to realize this man ain't going to give up all of the juicies. No, he's going to say a lot of stuff. He's going to do a lot of stuff. He's going to implicate some people and stuff. Well, isn't that what they did in the Diddy's case and stuff? But for the simple fact that he was there at the establishment, why was he there? Why would he want to come to a, young people's party. For what? He's an older guy. What the hell is he's going to be doing with 17, 18, 19-year-olds? For what? For what? And see, that's the thing that many of you don't even address. Why would King Rob, as old as he is, want to be at a young people's party? Love and all of these old niggas that was there at the party. Why will all of these old Negroes want to be at the party? For what? Was something going down? It was something that they all was a part of. And nobody has cracked the code, peoples. You know, Trey Gay hasn't cracked no code. And none of the other YouTubers has cracked the code when they were talking about this case, peoples. What is that? What is it that they know other than that of what was spoken? You know, there was a audio going around of King Rob threatening Lenore and talking all of this shit, and then they were supposed to have been at some type of shop, and you know, he was going off and stuff. But see, you know, I surmise that all of these black Negroes that get on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and stuff, and you know, yeah, they ghetto fabulous. They're Negroes. They're gangsters. They have nothing, no knowledge, no experience. Can't even hold down a regular job, 9 to 5 or whatever and stuff. And all they know is killing, stealing, robbing, and doing everything and all. But see, all of that catches up with you. And so you can do all of the devious, devilish, and demonic madness that you do, but then all it takes is just that one time, and then your ass is gone forever. And then what are you going to do? You're going to talk that shit behind bars? Because that's ultimately where they're going to end up, either behind bars or 6 feet under the ground. Period. Negroes that get on here and talk that Lily Lango madness. And then they talk about, well, you YouTubers. Well, I'm a YouTuber and I'm talking about you. You ain't going to do shit. I'm talking about you. You ain't going to do shit, King Raw, Chosen King, and all of you hilarious and nefarious gangster YouTubers and Facebookers and Instagrammers and all of you ghetto Negroes. See, I'm not a ghetto Negro. I'm a black man. But see, I have gangsters in my family, and I have gangster friends. So, you know, I'm not worried about what you people say or think that you're going to do and things. You know, I got gangster friends too that watches Edward Joseph's back, you know, my homies, as they call them, and things, you know, my ride and dies and whatnot. See, the thing is, people, I don't have to worry about shit, because at the end of the day, I don't live that type of lifestyle. I never did, never will. You know, I don't sell drugs. I don't do drugs. Never did, never will, and things. You know, I don't talk ebonics. I'm not in that lifestyle. I don't be out there on the streets and do all of this hoodlum madness and stuff. That's their life. I'm here, and I'm going to talk about this case. And I'm going to talk about any and everybody that was associated with this case, period, whether they like it or not. And so if that means exposing them, well, then that's what it means. If that means talking about them, well, that's what it means and stuff, you know. And so King Rob, as he says, King Rob, this nigga ain't no king. Well, yeah, he's the king robber, the hilarious and nefarious Sauber, The one who sits around and wants to be with all of these young girls and things. Oh, you guys remember when King Rob had Kenneka and her friends, and they were driving around in some type of car, some type of van or whatever. Y'all remember that, right? Because I showed you the video, and Kenneka was in there, and she was irritated. So you got to ask the question, people, what the hell is King Rob doing with all of these young ladies? Did he call himself a so-called pimp? Because his show wasn't pimping out Kenneka. You know, he was just another gangster out there on the Chicago streets talking bullshit and madness. And talking about the cops ain't gonna never do nothing to him and this, that, and the other, and so on and so forth. I'm sure he has a criminal record, peoples. And I'm sure that he's watching his mouth and watching his step today, because I'm sure he doesn't want to spend the rest of his life in prison. So, you know, you got to understand the play, peoples. People will get on here, hoop and holler, talk and scream and holler and things like that and stuff. And not to put it past them, because, you know, a true gangster is true gangster, and true gangster, you know, they're going to do shit. But then there's a price to pay behind that shit. And so if you are still a gangster and you're in your 50s and 60s and you still out there trying to beat bop and do all of this crazy stuff, man, sit your old ass down and shut the fuck up and enjoy the rest of your life while you have it right now. Because all of that demon, devilish, and demonic madness that you did, well, see, the Lord doesn't like that. And if you never gave your life to Christ, well, then you ain't getting in. And then for all eternity, you're going to spend your life in a pit of hell, burning forever for all eternity. Because that's where you ended up. Gangsters, robbers, suckers, Negroes. That's what it is, peoples. They do all of this shit while they live, but then when they die, well, then they have a lifetime to think about what they did. The Bible teaches us, people, that in hell there will be weeping and wailing and gnashing of the teeth. That is found in the book of Revelations. That is prophecy. That is what's to come. And so, you know, if you're going to live that type of lifestyle, just understand that once you leave here, your ass is going to hell with no bell, and you're going to burn for all eternity. Ain't no escaping hell, because that is the destiny for many of you gangsters, suckers. So, people, I heard so much about this King Rob sucker, but I found some video footage and I found the pictures, and he was at the establishment. And so the question becomes, peoples, why was King Rob at the establishment, peoples? What was going on that he was at the establishment? Yeah, he was there. He was there. We saw him. We saw him on video footage, peoples. We have screenshots and we have pictures of King Rob at that establishment. And so the question remains, peoples, why was he there? Why was he there? Out of all of the times and places that he could have been, why was he there at the establishment? Now, again, like I said, peoples, I never watched this video, so I don't know all of his narrative and what he had said in this Kenneka Jenkins case and things. But frankly, to be honest with you, I really don't care. Because like I said, a person is not going to totally implicate themselves into a situation such as this. well, a person end up being unalive. So he can be a bitch and he can be a snitch and try to tattletale upon everybody. But then at the end of the day, King Rob, tell on yourself, brother. Tell on yourself. What is it that you have done in this case? What part did you play? Because from what I hear, this nigga said a lot, he's seen a lot, and he's done a lot. And so at the end of the day, peoples, what did this little yellow ass sucker do in the Kenneka Jenkins case? And why is he so up in arms about TM and Lenora and all of like this and stuff? Like he is the ghetto police. And all the talking about TM and what TM has did and this and that and the other. Why were you there? Why was you there, King Rob? Chosen King and all of you fiends, Epsteins. You know, why was you there? Why was you there? And then why did everybody want to play and sit up here and lie about this young lady? Now, see, peoples, I should surmise to you that the narrative that they gave you was false, fictitious, hilarious, and nefarious. And it doesn't matter whether you believe that Kenneka was there on any given day or not. The bottom line is simply this. This narrative that has been out there forever and a day that Kenneka Jenkins was there at the establishment on the night is bullshit. Total bullshit and madness, peoples. Total bullshit and madness. Because see, the thing is, once you really break it down, it doesn't make no sense, because the time that they gave you, it doesn't make no sense. And I have yet to have anybody to come on to my live to express to me how this happened. Because a young lady of the name of Kenneka Jenkins was supposed to came to the establishment at 1:13 in the morning, 1:13 a.m. in the morning. And then about 2:30 something, she was supposed to have been walking the halls of that establishment. So from 1:13 to 2:30 something, people, that's about an hour and something minutes. And so within an hour and something minutes, Irene's live was supposed to happen. TY's live was supposed to happen. And then remember the testimony of what the lady had gave when she had saw TM in the hallway. She said, "I've seen your daughter." She told TM that. She said, "I've seen your daughter with two guys and two girls on the 11th floor." And so people's, that is an eyewitness right there who said that they seen Kenneka on the 11th floor with two guys and two girls. So now, peoples, help me to make this make sense. How did all of this madness happen within an hour or something time, peoples? How did Kenneka Jenkins get whooshed up upon some tapirmate and alcohol and be left in the lobby of the Crown Plaza Hotel, peoples? Help me to make that make sense. See, the thing is, when you break down that narrative in a manner to which the people try to do, it doesn't make no sense whatsoever. It doesn't make no sense whatsoever. And everybody is lying and everybody is giving a different narrative. Get Kenneka out of Irene's live, peoples. Get her out of Irene's live. Many of you can't. You can't. I asked the people, give me a rundown of what you think happened in this Kenneka Jenkins case. How did all of this stuff happen within an hour worth of time? How did it all happen, people? I mean, we had this guy named Franz Cabe, you know, supposed to run up there many times, shut the music down, oh, you know, and all like this and stuff. Well, if you go back to the case files and look at the history of what he said, he came up there several times and things. So that was beyond the golden hour, peoples. And then if you go back and look at the case files, then other people gave their testimony. And that was beyond the golden hour, peoples. And then you go back and the people who was in the other room gave their testimony. And again, peoples, that was beyond the golden hour. And then you had TM that's supposed to excuse me, y'all. I think I'm coming down with a cold or something. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, you had TM that gave her testimony, and that was beyond the golden hour, peoples. And so you had all of these people with different narratives that nobody has ever bothered to even cross-examine or even reference while they're giving their narrative. Because the only thing that they do is just take bits and pieces of the video footage and then they want to run with it. Then they want to give a narrative to it. And then everybody think that there's an expert in the Kenneka Jenkins case, like Trey Gay and Casey Cloy, Overa Sanchez, Mendina, you know. And then you got all of these hilarious and nefarious people who say, oh, well, we did the research and stuff. What research have you done? I said, what research have you done? Because you got people who say, yeah, that was Kenneka that walked the halls of that establishment. But see, the thing is, peoples, when you go back and you play Zach's live, you had P's that had stated that he was there at 12 something a.m. on September the 8th, the morning of the 8th. Not the morning of the 9th. He said the morning of the 8th. And he said that when he got there, he saw Shorty, a.k.a. Kenneka Jenkins. That's what he said. Go back and play back the video, peoples. I played it back in my live just a couple of lives ago. I played it back. And you heard what he said. And so, peoples, the thing is, can you really take for face value what these people said? Because everybody lied. Everybody lied. And everybody gave a different time. And everybody gave an indifferent assessment as to what they believed had happened. And it's all lies, people. All lies. And it's just like Cat Williams has said, all lies will be exposed. And all lies is being exposed, peoples. Because P. Diddy, Mr. Love, is going down. He's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. And then after him, they're coming after Jay-Z. They're coming after all of those other people who had partaked in the freak-offs and all like this and stuff. They're coming after him one by one. J-Lo. They already got R. Kelly. They're coming after Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry. And you see that he has a lawsuit up against him now for wanting to go up a man's rectum. You know, and T.D. Jakes and all like them and stuff. I mean, niggas. You know, it's one thing to be gay, but then it's another thing to be gay. And I can't phantom in my mind, peoples. I understand that everybody has their preference and everybody likes what they like and stuff, you know, but I just can't. I can't phantom in my mind. And I'm glad that I'm losing people because, you know, I guess it's the gay people who wanted to leave the channel because they didn't want me to talk about this, but that's good. I'm going to talk about it. I can't fathom in my mind that any man is sticking his penis in the rectum of a man. I can't fathom that for the likes of me, peoples. That just doesn't register with me. You know, and Tyler Perry is being accused of trying to groom a man and trying to stick his penis in the rectum of a man. Tyler Perry and all of these other suckers. And Trey Gay, the Thunder Booty, you know, is all the time talking about Thunder Booty. And so anybody who thinks about booty all the time and men's booty, they're gay. And he talks gay. He is gay. He looks gay. He's gay. No matter how you twist and turn it, people. Trey Gay, the Thunder Booty. Because see, you sit here and you say Thunder Booty. What is a Thunder Booty? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Man, people who sits and dreams about booty all the time, you sick. you are just sick. You know? They had Pride. They had Pride, and June was supposed to be Pride Month. Why come we can't have heterosexual month or straight month? Why does everybody has to wear a rainbow, and why are you desecrating the rainbow? The rainbow wasn't intended, and it's not a sign of gayism, lesbianism, transvestites, and the likes. Now, if that's the type of lifestyle that you want to live, people, you know, more power to you. But don't get mad at me when I talk about it, you know. Now, if you're offended because you're gay and I'm talking about you and talking about the acts that you do, well, then don't be gay. Don't be gay, because if you are full of pride and that floats your boat, well then shit, don't get mad at Edward Joseph because I talk about you. You know, you're full of pride. I'm not full of pride, peoples. I don't ride like that. I don't get down like that. And so, you know, it's just funny to me how people who is gay and lesbian and transsexuals and all like this, they get mad because we talk about them. Shit, y'all talk about us. Y'all talk about us heterosexuals and stuff. Y'all talk about me. You think I'd give two rats asses? You know, I don't care what you say about me. Y'all talk about me all the time, every day. You suckers don't even know me, and you talk about me and stuff. You know? So then when I start talking about you, now you want to get an attitude. Oh, well, he's just hateful and stuff. No, I'm not hateful. I'm just calling it like it is. It's a sin. God ain't never made man to stick his penis in another man's rectum. He never did that. So if you want to live that perverse lifestyle, well, then that's up on you. You know? But don't get mad at me when I talk about you. You know, if that's what floats your boat, well then get out there, be happy, promote that shit and be happy about it and stuff. But I don't agree with it. So don't get mad at me when I talk about you. Is that all right? You know, shit. If you like that shit, well then, hey, and it is shit. You sticking your penis in a man's rectum, and then what comes out of that? Shit. Shit only comes out, peoples. Nothing is supposed to be going in, but only shit comes out. And that's why they say that you have a foul mouth, because you got a penis stuck in your mouth and it's full of shit. You putting it in somebody's dookie hole. That's full of shit. And you sucking on a lollipop that has shit on it. Sad. Sad. And then you got Trey Gay up here talking about thunder booty. Well, I guess it's a lot of you thunder booties out there, because y'all saying that y'all love them, so you love a thunder booty. So do you have shit too? Y'all love Trey Gay, huh? Y'all love that thunder ass. So are you a thunder ass too? You love the man. Sad, people. Sad. Sad how you guys get attached to these type of people who lives that type of lifestyle. But as I said, peoples, Trey Gay tries to implicate Zahrie Walls in the Kenneka Jenkins case. He tried to say that Zahrie Walls had made up Kenneka in a freezer. So, peoples, what type of makeup did Zahrie put up on Kenneka in the freezer? There's Kenneka right there. There's Kenneka Jenkins right there, peoples. So, what type of makeup did she have on? Did Zahrie flat iron press her hair? Because that's what you guys said. That's stupid. Her hair is all over the place, peoples. So is this the work of Zahrie Walls, peoples? What makeup did she put on? And then why would she want to put up makeup on Kenneka? To dress her up so that people can take pictures of her in a freezer? Think about that for one moment. I want you guys to really think about what you say. You said that Zahrie Walls had put some makeup on Kenneka Jenkins, peoples, inside the freezer. Why would she want to do that? And the girl is deceased. I just need you to think of that logic just for one moment. The shit doesn't make no sense, peoples. And it's crazy the shit that comes out of many of you guys' mouths. You guys just say shit and you don't even think about what you say, and you just say it. And sometimes I'm you know what I'm start doing? I'm just going to start calling out all of you hilarious and nefarious people for the bullshit and madness that you say, because that is so goddamn stupid. It is just so stupid that for you to even think of that and even say that is stupid. Why would this girl go ahead and put makeup on this girl in a freezer? That's crazy. Y'all hold on. Okay, peoples, I am back. I see my peoples came in. Hello, Mariah Lavender. How are you, ma'am? It is a blessing to see you on tonight. Mariah Lavender says, hello, Mr. Edward and everyone. And so, peoples, you can't even answer the question that I raised. Why would anybody go ahead and put makeup on this girl to decorate her so they can take pictures? So if you guys say that Zahrie Walls had put makeup on Kenneka while she was in the freezer, well, then what you're saying is Zahrie Walls was a part of the cover-up. Zahrie Walls was a part of what happened to Kenneka. And so she had literally been a part of the play. That's what you're saying. She's been a part of the cover-up. But why would Zahrie Walls want to be a part of this madness when she already called out the people who was a part of this madness? And the bottom line is, none of you can even put Zahrie at the establishment. You ain't never seen her up on no type of video footage whatsoever. And it wasn't Zahrie that had walked the halls of that establishment. I mean, Treygate tried to make it seem like that was Zahrie. Zahrie had a big ass. She had a big round ass that pokes out. The girl that was walking the halls did not have a big ass that pokes out people's. See, that was the first mistake that Treygate had made, because he tried to say, yeah, look, that's her. Yeah, look. And I mean, he had the photo of the girl who was getting off the elevator, and he was trying to say it was Zahrie Walls and stuff. And he was trying to match up the outfit and things like that. But that picture was so distant. He didn't do no close-up shot. The jacket that she wore did not match the jacket that the girl wore. He tried to say that the girl had big breasts. Well, Kenneka had big breasts. A lot of people had big breasts. Well, but what does that mean? The difference is between Zahrie is Zahrie had a big ass. A big ass. And that baby poked out. Let me show you, peoples. Let me show you Zahrie's ass, peoples. Because see, the thing is, Zahrie had a distinctive feature to her. Her ass was big. And it was bulging and it poked out. Zahrie Walls, peoples. And so we'll get back to this, but let's look at Zahrie, peoples. See? Now, this is a good picture because she's in those jeans. This is a good picture of her because she's in those jeans, peoples. And then look at Zahrie's face, people. So I want you guys to look at that very well, peoples. Look at Zahrie's face. All right. Look at Zahrie's face, peoples. Look at Zahrie's face and look at Zahrie's nose. And then look at Zahrie's body. Now, does that look like the girl that walked some halls in that establishment, peoples? All right, so why is this like this? Here, let me reduce this down so I can clear that. There we go. That's what I want to try to get to right there. There we go. Okay. Now, look at Zahrie's face. Look at Zahrie's nose. Look at Zaria's backside. Because she has the jeans on, her backside is not poking out as big as it could in other outfits. Look at her face, people. Look at her face. Her face doesn't even come close to looking like Kenneka's face. So we have this picture up. So what I want to do, let me get a screenshot of this, and then we're going to do a comparison. So let's do a comparison. Let's bring that back. And let's shrink that down some to size. And let me get a screenshot of this right here. So let me go ahead and see, because this is something that Trey Gay refused to do. And I refuse to allow Trey Gay to go ahead and literally take this girl's name. I got to call that sucker out. Got to call him out. And so we're going to save this as Zaria, Walls, and Niece. And let me save that in my downloads. Okay. Boy. All right, people. So we have that picture. And then we have another picture of Zaria right here. And look how big and bulging her breast is. She has her breast out. But look at her body. There's another picture that we're going to take a look at. We're going to compare it, people. So let me get one of that one too. See, this is why you go ahead and debunk the stupid people. Because everybody now he wants to, yeah, now I know that's the best friend. That's the best friend. Yeah, we know Zaria right now is the best friend. We know that now. We didn't know that then, but we know that now. Now look at Zaria. She has a different look. Look at the face. Now, this is even a close-up shot of Zaria. Okay, so this is going to be the final one that we're going to screenshot. And we're going to compare these pictures, peoples. And compare these pictures. All right. So we're going to come back to that. So now let me go ahead and let me call up Kenneka's pictures here. Let's call up Kenneka's pictures right here, peoples. We'll call up that one. And then we're going to call up the other pictures that we just done. Yeah, we're gonna call up that one. We're gonna call up that one. And we're gonna call up that one. All right. So we got these pictures of Zahrie. Now we have that picture. Okay, so let's look at Zahrie, peoples. Let's look at Zahrie right here. Now, do Zahrie and Kenneka remotely look alike, peoples? They don't even remotely look alike, peoples. And then this is Zahrie right here, and she's looking. Look at Zahrie. Look at her face. And then look at Zarya's face right here. Then look at Kenneka's face right there. Do they remotely look alike? Zahrie has thick eyebrows. Kenneka doesn't. In all of her pictures, she has thick eyebrows. She has these painted on eyebrows. And they're very arched. See that? They're very arched. See that? See that? See that? And then look at Kenneka's eyebrows. So, how could Zahrie play the role as Kenneka Jenkins in an establishment when the girl's body is so damn different? Look at her body. Look at her body, peoples. Look at her body. Okay. So that's Zahrie Walls. And then if we go look at Facebook and we look at pictures right here. Look at that body, people. Look at that ass. That ass is so big. See? Look at her ass, peoples. That girl at the establishment didn't have an ass like that, peoples. Do you understand what I'm saying? And Zahrie, she's not that tall. She's probably about 5'2", 5'3". You know? Let's take a look. That's my guesstimate, but let's take a look. Let's go back to her Facebook page. And she had some pictures of her and Kenneka. Now look at her and her mom right here. Look at that ass. Zahrie had a unique ass. And see, look at Zahrie. Okay. She's with her man. Yeah, here we go again. Look at her ass. She had a very unique ass, peoples. And then look, she's got all of Kenneka's pictures and stuff up here. So why would she go and do something with, or do something to Kenneka. Look, it says right here. There's Kenneka in the background right there. All Kenneka. There's Kenneka again. There's Zahrie right there. There's Kenneka again. And so, peoples, you know, there's Zahrie right there, and there's Kenneka right there. So it says right here, peoples. Let's read this. It says, "Woo, sisters, we was ghetto, always fighting. I can't believe this day we hit that lady's car before school and called Mama T crying like she hit us. I miss you. I wish this was a bad dream. Memories ain't enough for me. Never was 100. We really moved wrong. You're not supposed to be gone. The movies was a better ideal, I swear. Shit makes me sick to my stomach. I can't believe this." This girl is literally sitting here telling you peoples how much she missed Kenneka. This girl right here is literally sitting here telling you how much she missed Kenneka. And she is showing you all of these pictures of her and Kenneka. And some other girl, because here's this girl, here's the girl right here. There's Kenneka. And then there's the girl right there. And then there's the girl right there, same girl. And then there's Kenneka. There's Zahrie. There's Zahrie. There's that girl. There's that girl. There's Kenneka. There's Kenneka. You know? Y'all see that, right? There it is right there. So my question is, peoples, why would Zahrie want to have all of this stuff posted up on her page? And she didn't like Kenneka. Here it is right here. Today makes 2 months that you've been gone, and I still don't understand the message God is trying to send. So many unanswered questions and uneased hearts. But no matter how far you've seen, we may never be too far apart. I love you, Nee, forever and a day. And then there she has it right there. And so this is her and her mom. Kizzy. And then look at Zahrie. Here's Zahrie again. And look at her ass. Very distinctive, peoples. Very distinctive. And she said that this bitch, shades of ugly, little Grinch looking ass, Shanae looking ass, back porch braid wearing ass, and bitch, you missed a spot on your little, on your lips. Little sucked on meatballs head ass out west versus out south. Guard, don't play with my friend, bitch. I don't know who this is, but whoever she was, they talked about this girl bad. And oh boy, look, they're posting up all types of pictures and things about this girl. And they're talking about her real bad. And then here it is again. I don't know how to feel. Never been the type to face reality on I can't stomach the fact that you're gone. I love and appreciate you so much for being real. And no matter how distant everybody was, you still came through. Your birthday tomorrow, and you're grown now, honey. I can hear you now. Being so extra, I miss you. And then she said, can't trust nobody. And then this is her and her mom. And then we all remember this famous picture because there she is right there when she was younger. There's Kenneka. There's Monifa. Where's Bree Bree? And where is Shemaya? Neither one is in here. There's Monifa. There's Kenneka. And there's Zahrie. But she wasn't as big as she was. And look all these other girls right here. So this was the clan. And y'all remember this right here, right? When they were at her house and stuff and they were sitting in the room twerking. And then here they are right here. There's Kenneka. There's Monifa. So Monifa has been down with them. I said Monifa has been down with them. So they tried to proclaim that Monifa wasn't a good friend, but Monifa was. Monifa was there. Monifa was down. She said, no justice, no peace, no Crown Plaza for me. This a whistle. We shut it down. And then
head up and keep stacking them figures. And if you out there on mountain traffic with killers, representing on my soul, they'll bury my niggas. And I ain't my head up and keep stacking them figures. And if you out there on mountain traffic with killers, representing on my soul, they'll bury my niggas. And I ain't my head. My homies that ain't hit no more, my niggas in that jam. We put money on them books and still stacking for the bill. I got a gang of bad bitches say they wanna. My homies that ain't hit no more. Bodies, boy, I'm talking dirty around. Miss my nigga Boosie, that's why I'm smacking you niggas. He told me keep my head up and keep stacking me figures. That's why I keep my bodies, boy, I'm talking.
And then look at Zaria. And she had on a different tattoo. And look at her body, peoples. She is short and stubby. See, she's short and stubby, and they are wearing the Timberlands. All of them had Timberlands, and all of them was thick, and all of them, filled their pants. These girls, they ate very well. They were very healthy. Very healthy young ladies. There's Kenneka. And look at Zahrie. And so there's Zahrie and there's Kenneka. There's Kenneka, people. There's Zahrie right there. Damn, all of these Chicago girls is thick. And then there's her with her boo-boo. And then there's Kenneka again, peoples. And then there's Kenneka again, right there. Look at Kenneka, peoples. So if Zaria didn't like Kenneka, why does she have so many pictures of Kenneka? And then as you can see, Kenneka, peoples, she's all the time wearing the watch on her left arm, as you can see. That's Kenneka. I see that, right? And then look at all of the pictures, peoples. She's doing hair. And there's Monifa right there. So where was Shemaya and Irene and Bree? They must have been the new girls that Monifa was saying. Cause all I see is Monifa right there. I don't see Irene. There's Kenneka. And Zahrie. So I don't see Bree. I don't see Irene. I don't see Shemaya. I mean, Monifa's been there. So Monifa must have been right to say that she knew her since third grade. And when Kenneka wanted to make some new friends, I guess that's when she met Irene and Shemaya and Bree. But as you can see in all of the pictures, peoples, Irene is not in these pictures. Bree is not in these pictures, and Shemaya is not in these pictures. But Zahrie is with Kenneka. And you all the time see Monifa in there. See that? And there's Monifa right there. See that, peoples? That's Kenneka, because you can see the recess in her teeth. And then that's her at the school. And she's got on a dookie chain. There's Monifa. There's Kenneka. There's Zahrie. So where's Irene? Where's Shemaya? And where's Bree? You know, you don't see them. So, and then there's Kenneka again. There's Zahrie. There they are again. There they are again. And then there is Zahrie and J Money. And there they are right there, peoples. Zahrie and J Money. When did you ever see J Money take a picture with Monifa? I mean, not Monifa. Take a picture with Irene, Shemaya, or Bree? I said, did you ever see J Money take a picture with Irene, Shemaya, or Bree? And see, she has Kenneka's name tattooed upon her chest. That was Kenneka's best friend, people. So why would Kenneka's best friend want to set her up? Woo! $400 glasses. She's got Gucci. And she shops at the North Face. And then rest in peace, Kenneka. And then there again, she has Kenneka's name tattooed on her chest. So Zahrie was Kenneka's best friend, peoples. And they said, we do anything. See, they like to get in there and they like to shop and stuff. And, you know, they just do what they do. See that? And they just out just having fun. And then there again, she has Kenneka's name tattooed on her chest. It's just girls out having fun. And then there she is again with Kenneka name tattooed on her chest. And then there's the Adidas outfit, but it's not black this time. And then if you see the ring, it's the same type of ring Kenneka wore. So her and Kenneka had a special bond. And then look at Kenneka, and she wore the wrist on her left arm. So I think Kenneka was a lefty. And then there it is again. Kenneka's name tattooed on her chest. So why would Zahrie want to try to set up Kenneka, her best friend? Doesn't make no sense, peoples. And then if you look at it, Zahrie had big eyebrows. So in all of the pictures, peoples, you're seeing she had Kenneka's name tattooed on her chest. So Trey Gay, why would Zahrie Walls want to set up Kenneka? And then there it is again, peoples. Kenneka's name tattooed upon her chest. Which simply says that Kenneka was really something special to her. And she really loved her some Kenneka. More so than any other girls. And more so than Monifa. More so than Shamaya. More so than Bree. More so than Irene. Because they didn't love her as Zahrie did, because Zahrie had Kenneka's name tattooed on her chest. And there it is again, peoples, as you can see. See the tattoo right there, and then this is covered. Kenneka. Kenneka was something special to Zahrie. I mean, to have a young lady's name tattooed on your chest, you know, that is saying a lot, peoples, because that name is going to forever be with you. And look, there it is again, Kenneka. So when Trey Gay wants to sit up here and try to say that Zahrie Walls had something to do with Kenneka, the nigga is stupid. And for all of you hilarious and nefarious YouTubers that sat up here and believed this bullshit that Trey Gay was saying on his live the other day, you stupid. Because here it is again, peoples. Zahrie has Kenneka's name tattooed on her chest. There it is right there. There it is right there. And see, this is playful banter. You know, they all the time sitting up, holding each other and doing all of this stuff. But that's what girls do, peoples. You know. And she did so many people's hair. And she done an excellent job. And everybody had a unique hairstyle. And it was unique to each individual girl. And that's why everybody came to her. And then look at that ring, peoples. It's the same ring that Kenneka wore. Her and Zahrie. And then look what she said. She said, to know me is to adore me. And then Tanya Gal said, yes, Zahrie, too sexy for social media. And then look at this guy coming up with stacks of 20s and 100s. And so, yeah, you can be a little drug dealer and stuff, and and they love that lifestyle and things. But a lot of those guys ain't around now. And look at that. This girl just had nothing but people all on her channel. And I don't know who this was, but did he get shot or something? Because it looks like he's, But that's what happens to all of these Negroes who wants to run the street. Here's Colombia, and then look at those breasts. And so I'm just kind of like, well, and then here's the white nails again. All of these girls in these white nails. And everybody's just as sexy and as sassy as they want to be. And then there again, there's Kenneka's name tattooed on her chest. So Kenneka was something special to Zahrie. And then here we go right here, all of the pictures of Kenneka and Zahrie. And I don't know who this girl is. There's the Adidas outfit. There's the Columbia jacket. There's the Adidas outfit again, and the Adidas outfit again, and the Columbia. Boy, they love Columbia. She's got a picture of Kenneka. Columbia again, the jacket. And then I think we're back at square one again. Yep, we're back at square one. And there it is right there, peoples. So, it is absolutely, unequivocally, and undeniably that Zahrie Walls was Kenneka's best friend. And by her being Kenneka's best friend, there is no way that Zahrie would have taken part in the analyzation of Kenneka Jenkins, peoples. So Trey Gay can save me with all of that bullshit and madness that this girl had ever walked the halls of that establishment. Because it never happened, peoples. I said it never happened, peoples. And all through here, we see Kenneka and Zahrie. All through here, peoples. And then there's the ring that she wore. Kenneka wore the ring and Zahrie wore the ring. Same type of ring, peoples. There it is right there. There it is right there, peoples. Now, that was Kenneka's true friend, her best friend. And the thing is, peoples, nobody is going to do it like they did it. Nobody. Proof is in the pudding right there, peoples. The pictures don't lie. Trey Gay lie, but the pictures doesn't lie, peoples. I'm going to put a beautiful slideshow together. I'm working on it now. Kenneka Jenkins' best friend passes away on boat. And Kenneka Jenkins was her best friend, peoples. I wanted to get that shot. There it is right there, peoples. I said, there it is right there, peoples. That was the best friend right there. Kenneka Jenkins, peoples. That was Zaria Wall's best friend, peoples. And so when Trey Gay sits his little thunder ass booty up here and tried to proclaim that Zaria Walls had something to do with Kenneka Jenkins' death, I had to make a live. And I had to come back and I had to talk in behalf of Zaria Walls, peoples, because Trey Gay ain't nothing but a thunder booty. And for him to desecrate her name in such a manner, in an egregious manner to which he did, Trey Gay, you're a sucker. You're an ass kicker, you're an ass kisser in booty liquor. You go up men's rectum. You have a shitty ass mouth and you a thunder ass booty. And there's no reason whatsoever why you should ever have sat your little black ass up here to say that this young lady walked some halls of that establishment when she never did. I said people she never did, not in behalf of Kenneka Jenkins, peoples. And for all of you stupid people who sat on his live and played along with that bullshit, you guys should know better. You stupid yourself. And I'm calling out every last one of you suckers. You stupid. To sit up here and to ever think that Kenneka Jenkins' best friend had anything to do with her analyzation, peoples. That is so effing stupid. It's just crazy to me. She's going to have this young lady's name tattooed upon her chest. And y'all want to sit up here and listen to Trey Gay. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. And to say that this girl put on some makeup while Kenneka was lying in the freezer. So she's going to put her on her makeup so they can take some pictures of her lying in the freezer. What sense does that make, peoples? If she's going to put on some makeup, why couldn't she put on the makeup while the girl is living? Why she's going to put on makeup while the girl is deceased? That is so goddamn stupid. King Rob and Chosen King and whoever the fuck may have been saying all of this bullshit and madness, and Trey Gay and Casey Cloyo, Vera Sanchez Medina, and all of you suckers who sat up here and believed this bullshit, you guys are so goddamn stupid. You stupid. This is Kenneka's best friend right here, peoples. That is Kenneka's best friend, peoples. And then he goes, Trey Gay goes and make a live. He goes and make a live, and he says, "Breaking news: Kenneka Jenkins' family, Zaria Walls, dead now." And then he goes and shows all of her pictures and Zaria Walls at Kenneka Jenkins' gravesite, and then he goes and shows the picture of Kenneka Jenkins and Zaria Walls. Peoples. But then he goes back and make a live. Breaking news: Kenneka Jenkins' friend Zaria Walls dead. Is this a setup? Then he wants to go and try to reference some case files and things. You know, see, people, it's one thing to sit and talk about the case, but to go ahead and play with these people's names like that and shit, that ain't cool at all. That ain't cool at all. And then what's really sickening is all of these stupid ass YouTubers sit and believe in all of this madness. And then he's going to try to say, this is the girl, Zaria Walls, who walked the halls of that establishment.
Looking to add a profitable food service option?
So, peoples, did that ever look like Zaria Walls, peoples? And the question is simply this: why would Zaria Walls go and play Kenneka? That shit just doesn't make no sense whatsoever, peoples. It doesn't make no sense whatsoever. Absolutely none.
Now that you're gone, every day I go on, but life's just not the same. I'm so empty inside, and my tears I can't hide, but I'll try.
And so we saw that because we saw those pictures. You didn't see Shemaya. You didn't see Bree Bree. And you didn't see Irene. You didn't see them, peoples.
That's your whole free from it all. Take 1 second, think about all the motherfucking blessings. Yeah, I got a license, but I'm driving real reckless. Where you at, Chris? You bitch! Like it's nothing. Smoke that bitch out, not police. Make the woman nigga know that we coming. When I'm smoking, smelling like I'm eating onions. I'm never going up like I gotta be something. All this fucking cake like I gotta eat something. And I'm trying to cook with a drink keep coming. It'll take 1 second. Think about all these motherfucking blessings. Yeah, I got a license, but I'm driving real reckless. Cause I'm in love, damn turn to a fix. She gon' see the hot job, cause I get the reckless. Come and get it work, cause you know I gotta sell it. Before I get the cool, yeah, you know I gotta test it. Cause I cut it to this $100 and I'm drink on that top. We on that shit. The haters, they talk shit. But later they walk in. That's your whole free from an auction. She steady talking. He steady flossing. Organizing bullshit. It'll take 1 second. Think about all these motherfucking blessings. Yeah, I got a license, but I'm driving pretty reckless. Cause I'm done turn too fast. She gon' see the hot dog, cause I get the reckless. Come and get it work, cause you know I gotta sell it. Before I get the cool, yeah, you know I gotta test it. Cause I could've took this $100 and invested.
We coming for you, shorty, though. We really coming for you. I should have been on this side of the street.
What's that?
This side of the street. I think you're getting in front of me. Who am I?
Everybody in their grandma.
I love her.
Right, we love you, 20.
I love you, Tanika.
Everybody and their grandma under this hole. Like, long live our girl. What the fuck? No, not trying to play this.
This what she was thinking.
Yeah, she was snapping though. My girl's like, it was you and me. Wasting time. It was chemistry. Oh my grandma, this is Kenneka shit, bro. It was magic, and now it's gone. He ain't no you, and I ain't no her. But I know if we tried, maybe we could have worked. And you may see me smiling, trying to cover the hurt. But baby, I need you to know I'm still in love with you, and I just can't let it go. Baby, I just don't know what else to do. So I gotta let you know you got me deep, deep down, deep down. Never knew it hurt so bad. Boy, you got me deep, deep down, deep down. That's actually the way we.
Yeah, RP, that's your song.
RP, no RP. Long live my girl.
Scooter, shooters. When they kill my nigga Snoop, see how young nigga in the casket. He had no blood in the day. Probably the reason why I keep taking them drugs. All these drugs, got no patience for these motherfucking fuck. No patience. I want to kill everybody.
The fuck that's the thing just did it. Oh, look at my little babies. This today Cancer Awareness Day.
So I'ma hold it down till we all.
They so pretty with their little blue shirts on, tear down here. I hope they don't make my baby fall while they running like that. This police slow dragging.
I just wanna see my bitch flossing.
Oh, yeah, that's why the streets like this.
That's how you like it, huh? 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 That's how you like it, huh?
Gotta have my back, you right, I got some love. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Kenneka be like, cut that soft shit out. You're special. Kenneka be like, cut that soft shit out.
RP, that's your song. Lil Snoop. All the fallen soldiers. Scooter. Choose. When they kill my nigga Snoop, I see my young nigga in the casket. Even had no blood in the face. Probably the reason why I keep taking these drugs. All these drugs. Got no patience for these motherfuckers. Fuck, no patience. I watch everybody change. They thought I lost. They did. But now they all busting Louis. It's gonna cost. I take kid, I'm checking casket on the coffin. It's only been
I'ma hold it down to y'all.
we been at the club with a darling.
I just wanna see my bitch flossing.
100 bands every time I'm walking. If you get it, shit, you get a blessing for it. You down in that tree with that West on it. My mama, she can't sleep. I come here early morning. Mama, I got 30 and it's 30 for you. If you ever want to give me, shut up, Ross. Used to pray to run the noodles, turn the lights. Gotta watch my own earnings on the rise. Gotta watch. This is the time of money, get your line on. I can just they enjoy me, they got the slow. They say that you can ride it, than nobody. You turn it easy, but you ain't on why you're not you. Out for love,
Kill myself, I see the footage on the tape. Then I look through up everything I ever ate.
man, I know he got some
Lies and the Kevin Gates.
kicking shit with all these bitches like he Kevin Gates.
Relax your mind and kick your feet back up. Solid dog food, trying to feed my pups.
Young rich nigga,
And I feel fucked up.
and I'm going through stuff.
And I don't feel no love.
Shake your body and you still my gun. Take a Perkins and you feel my gun.
Feel watching and you
Still my gun. I'm gone. I don't see my brother with the panic like the static. Gucci right to go up, got retarded with my daddy. I done seen the grave out bleed out the casket. But just got me focused and I noticed all the damage. I done seen the brothers in the county eating sandwiches. Also been the days on that one crazy I can't balance. Intelligence, sipping on the challenges, that's why I gotta manage it. As I see the challenges, make that work do acrobatics, look accurate. And I'm leaning like a project balance. I'm a boss, I ain't never needed a manager. Every but here we bow. You, all the soldier we bow.
Put it in your GPS, like save it, and put it in your. My kid put it in I want to have GPS.
Hold on, hey, my Kia. Go, what's the name? Go get it off the page.
I got it in my phone.
Yeah. I almost asked y'all, did y'all want some? I can't say I don't laugh because she rewatched me.
Huh.
She opened
Put in 752
752
E 114th Street.
through stuff. I don't feel no love.
Let me see. Y'all thirsty to play the music? We going to ride this right quick.
Yeah. I thought somebody just called me the door.
You said somebody, y'all gotta play that back. And then everybody get there. Damn, I thought you.
All right, people. So for privacy purposes, the audio on here was blocked out in things. Also, all you're going to see is just pretty much them sitting here and dancing in the car and playing their music. I don't understand why YouTube and Facebook is getting so riled up just because you're playing music, but you know, it's the thing that they're doing now and stuff, and so now they're exiting out the music that the people play. So no longer can we play the videos of the people with the music that they're playing and things. And so
For what?
okay, so they turned it back on because they are not playing the music. So I'm gonna digress and let you listen. Let's go.
Happy birthday. I'm having deja vu.
No. My dog made me do it. Right? That's a
You already lived through this day. Happy birthday. Somebody's gonna kill me tonight. Happy birthday. PG-13.
Hey guys, how to easily recover lost files from an SD card. We'll teach you how to recover files. So what should you do when you sadly lost files from SD card? Hey guys, how to easily recover lost files from SD.
And so again, they block out the music. And as you can see, peoples, there you see Monifa in the back seat with Zahrie and this girl while they were driving, peoples. As you can see. And Monifa was a good friend. I don't know if she was best friends with Zahrie, but obviously Monifa was in the mix. Monifa was there at the time, with Zahrie and Kenneka. She was always there. And so if you wanted to say that Monifa was a very good friend of Kenneka, well, then it is safe to say that. But Zahrie Walls was Kenneka's best friend. She was Kenneka's best friend. And so don't get it twisted, people. Don't listen to these stupid, hilarious, and nefarious YouTubers that want to sit up there and say that Zahrie was not Kenneka's best friend and that Zahrie had anything to do with the analyzation of Kenneka Jenkins, because we never seen Zahrie at the establishment. Let me turn on some background music. And so let me go ahead and see if I can keep that as a if I can just have that repeat while I am talking. So let me turn it down some. I don't know if I can turn it down. Anyway, let me see. Let me test something out. Let me see.
This is my girlfriend. No, what's the song we was listening to? Dear old Nikki. Oh, that.
Okay, and so I guess I'm going to play this music while they're driving and things, and talk along the lines of while they were driving and stuff, because again, it's the music that is going to, cause a copyright strike. So I've been trying to skip all of these commercials. I'm just going to play this music and just let it play, because they've been in the car for quite some time, and YouTube had edited out all of that music and stuff. And so instead of playing the music, I'm just going to let this song play in the background, and I'm going to talk. And so, peoples, as you can see, Monifa and Zahrie has always been around Kenneka. Zahrie is or was Kenneka's best friend, as we can see, clearly demonstrated in the video, people. Clearly demonstrated, without a shadow of a doubt. No one is ever going to have someone's name tattooed upon their person, upon their chest, where everybody can be able to sit back and look at, if that person was not something special to them. And as you can see, peoples, Kenneka Jenkins was Zahrie Wall's best friend. And when people say that Zahrie Walls had anything to do with Kenneka's analyzation, well, then I have to question the validity of the stupidity. Because at the end of the day, people, there is no evidence whatsoever that that Zahrie had anything to do with Kenneka's analyzation, aka putting on her makeup, aka fixing her hair while Kenneka lie in state at the establishment. There's no evidence to that, people. The only thing that you have is stupid, unhinged YouTubers that proclaimed that Zahrie Walls was there at the establishment. But that is so stupid. Think about that for one moment, people. I need you to really grasp that concept, if you will. Why would Zahrie Walls go to put makeup on Kenneka while Kenneka is lying in state at the establishment? For what reason would Zahrie Walls have to go ahead and come to the establishment and put makeup on Kenneka, knowing that her friend is deceased? Think about that for one moment. I need you to grasp that concept, because see, when people want to throw these silly and stupid narratives out there, you gotta make it make sense, people, and it doesn't make no sense for Zahrie Walls to be at the establishment with Kenneka, and Kenneka is lying deceased in a freezer. Help me to make that make sense, people. Zahrie Walls has on the same type of ring that Kenneka had wore. Zahrie Walls has Kenneka's name tattooed upon her person, upon her chest. So help me to make that make sense, people. Why would Zahrie Walls ever go to the establishment knowing that her friend is deceased, and then go ahead and put on makeup upon Kenneka Jenkins so she can be looking fly while lying in a freezer? People's, that doesn't strike me as Zahrie Walls' personality or persona, people's. It doesn't strike me as her ever doing something like that. And so I can't get with that narrative. I hear I understand, and I hear people say, yeah, Zahrie Walls was there and she did Kenneka Jenkins makeup, but people's looking at all of what we had looked at, and then other videos that I have seen Kenneka and Zahrie Walls interaction, it doesn't strike me as Zahrie Walls would do anything of the such. Now, it's easy to paint a picture of people, especially when you don't know them, especially when you don't know the idiosyncrasies of their relationship. All you only doing is just taking the madness and spreading it abroad to other people so people can endorse that madness that you speak. You have no validity to the stupidity. There is not one picture, there is not one video that these YouTubers has ever given to clearly show that Kenneka Jenkins and Zahrie Walls was at the Crown Plaza together, whether alive or whether deceased people. There's no proof of that whatsoever. Because now, if Leave No Witness had the video footage, well then I'm sure Leave No Witness would have shown that by now. But Leave No Witness has no video footage whatsoever. Trey Gay doesn't have no video footage whatsoever of Zahrie Walls at the establishment at the Crown Plaza. So people, I don't believe that madness. I said I don't believe that madness. I don't believe at all for once that Zahrie Walls had anything to do with Kenneka Jenkins' death, nor put any makeup on her, did her hair. Because if Zahrie Walls had flat iron straight Kenneka's hair like the people proclaimed and stuff, well then, I mean, in the freezer, as we look at Kenneka Jenkins peoples, we do not see Kenneka's hair flat iron straight peoples. I said we do not see Kenneka Jenkins' hair flat iron straight. There's no evidence, there is no proof of that whatsoever. None whatsoever. And so it is crazy to me, people, to think for one moment that Zahrie Walls would have done that to Kenneka Jenkins people. No evidence whatsoever. And so people, this is like 30 minutes of them driving and things, and I'm going to talk for 30 minutes. And I know that I can't play this music because they had exited this out. And so I may have to go ahead and just let this music play in the background while you see these people sing and dance in the car, you know, and get all giddy and act all crazy. Or I can cut down this live, but I don't want to cut down the live, people. I want you to see how they are interacting with each other, and I want you to see what they're doing, but I just can't play the music, like I say, because it's been exited out, and they've been going from one extreme to another with playing the music. Do you understand what I'm saying, people? And so, you know, YouTube, Facebook, they have a new way of doing things and stuff. And so this is the type of music that won't get you a copyright strike. But it's nice, soothing music that, you know, I can play in the background, and I can play a few other pieces of music to just let it play over and over again while we watch this play out, people. And so, let me see. I'm trying to look for another ballad that I can play. But I just wanted to say, people, just for the book and for the record, in my opinion now, you have your own opinion, but in my opinion, that narrative is so damn stupid. It is just incredible. Because see, the thing is, peoples, if you're ever going to say some stuff like that, well, then my thing is crystal clear. Prove your stance. You know, prove your stance. Prove that Zaria Walls was at the establishment. Show me one picture. Show me one video of Zaria Walls at the establishment at the time to when Kenneka Jenkins was supposed to have been at Crown Plaza. Trey Gang can't show you. Leave No Witness can't show you. All of the other YouTubers who has the video content, they can't show you, people. And so the thing is simply this, people. They have the video content. And so because they have the video content, well, then you would think that they can be able to prove their stance. But they can't. They absolutely can't. They cannot debunk Edward Joseph. Do you understand what I'm saying? They can't debunk Edward Joseph, and they cannot stand up to prove their stance, peoples. And so with that said, peoples, I said with that said, peoples, wasn't it that the people can say? They can. They absolutely can't. And the reason why they can't is simply because they have no proof to their so-called truth. Now, I think I was talking on this part, so let me digress and let me go ahead and let the live play. I'll be back. And all of the other hilarious and nefarious people who wants to try to douse this girl's name. Now, many people didn't like Zaria Walls, as well as many people don't like Edward Joseph. But then, like Zaria Walls has said, I don't give two rats' asses. Which Edward Joseph always say, hey, I don't give two rats' asses either. You can love me, peoples, or you can hate me. It really doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, I'm always going to be here, and I'm always going to stand 10 toes down, and I'm always going to shoot my shot. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, as time goes by, my channel is going to grow, and these videos is going to get out there. I got a lot of haters right now, and so that's why, you know, things ain't being shown as much as it could be. But see, people, you know, it doesn't really matter to me, because as long as I am touching the few that I'm reaching right now, that's all good. But it's just a matter of time, peoples. And so, you know, I'm going to break it. Because see, the thing is, people wants to judge me based upon what other people say about me, which the other people don't even know me. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, even they still watch me. And whether they don't like my channel or subscribe to my channel, they help me with my watch hours, which is all good. But see, peoples, my thing is simply this. I'm here to get the word out to the people that Zaria Walls was Kenneka's best friend, and that Zaria Walls never walked the halls of that establishment, peoples. Regardless of what Trey Gay say, Casey Chloe Overa Sanchez Medina say, are Okay, people. We had a power outage just now, so let me go back and share my screen, peoples. I said let me go back and share my screen. Go ahead and call up all of the other channels that I had going on. But yeah, see, that ain't nothing but the devil, because the devil wants to try to keep me bound, just like all of the other people. But that ain't going to happen, peoples, because I'm going to always be here, and I'm going to always shoot my shot. I'm going to always say what I need to say and things. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so it is never going to stop me from giving my narrative. The system never wants me to speak about this case. It's all the time something happening. But see, because I'm too resilient for that. So you just have to learn how to take the good with the bad and just keep pressing. You don't worry about things. You don't worry about situations. You don't worry about people and what they tried to say or what they tried to do to you. You just continue to keep standing tall, standing firm, and continue to get the narrative out there to the people. Now, I am so happy to report that we're growing. We're growing, peoples, and things is moving in the right direction. And a lot of people wants to try to put a monkey wrench in the things that you do. But see, they can't, peoples. They absolutely can't. They will never stop me from talking about the Kenneka Jenkins case, peoples. And so I'm just here right now. I'm just talking and waiting for my thing to come back up and refresh. And so once it comes up, then I'm gonna go ahead and revive the live and things. And it looks like it's coming back up. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, peoples. I said I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, peoples. And we're going to get back into this live. And we're not going to allow situations to get the best of us, peoples. I'm here. I am live. And I will always talk about Kenneka Jenkins' case, peoples. I will never give up. I will never throw in the towel. And I will never not talk about this case. Because there's so much to talk about, peoples. And so I won't allow the people to silence me. Is that all right, peoples? And so, peoples, without further ado, let's get back to the live and let's listen in upon the Kenneka Jenkins case, peoples. Let's go. Judge me by based upon what other people say about me, which the other people don't even know me. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, even they still watch me. And whether they don't like my channel or subscribe to my channel, they help me with my watch hours, which is all good. But see, peoples, my thing is simply this. I'm here to get the word out to the people that Zahrie Walls was Kenneka's best friend, and that Zahrie Walls never walked the halls of that establishment, peoples. Regardless of what Trey Gay say, Casey Chloe Overa Sanchez Mendina say, or any other hilarious and nefarious YouTubers say, I'm always going to be here, and I'm always going to stand 10 toes down with the people, with Zaria Walls and with Kenneka Jenkins, and tell the people this madness that these people are spreading is bullshit and nonsense. And it's going to reach the masses, people. I do believe, you know, I do believe it's going to reach the masses. You know, I've learned to be patient. The Bible teaches us about patience. Patience is a virtue. So I've learned to be patient. Watching it, the word is getting out. I said it's getting out, peoples. And so, you know, it's just going to be a matter of time to when one of these videos is going to go viral. And then once it do, then I'm going to reach more of the masses. See, the thing is, I refuse to play the game with YouTube and Facebook and all like them, because in order to go viral and reach thousands of more people, they want you to pay to play. And I refuse to pay. And I'm not going to play. And so as long as I continue to keep going live and continue to keep doing what I do, well then I just have to be satisfied with that. Because I refuse to pay for views, peoples. No, TikTok does that. TikTok wants you to pay so you can reach thousands of people and things. I refuse to do that. You know? No, I'm not going to do that, peoples. And so my thing is that, you know, if the people see it, they see it. And if they don't, well then, hey, that's fine too. Because as long as the few people that see it, hey, that's all that matters. It's never going to stop me from doing what I do. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, I haven't been on YouTube that long. But, you know, I'm going to start doing what everybody else does. I'm going to start making some shorts. And I'm just going to start consistently posting different shorts. Just making my point. Different shorts, just different videos and things. I finally got my system software back. And so I'm in here, you know, I'm going to utilize a little bit of AI and utilize my creative abilities. I've been in here. I've been watching and learning the platform and stuff so I can do a lot more creative stuff. And so I'm going to start pumping it out there because that's how you get noticed. You keep pumping those shorts out there. Keep pumping them, keep pumping them, keep pumping them, you know. And then it's going to take hold because then, you know, that is going to show up in somebody's algorithm and somebody's going to see it and then somebody else is going to see it. Somebody else is going to see it. And so that's the way to get noticed. I'm noticing now. See, it took me a minute to understand how YouTube and Facebook and all of these platforms work. And so instead of me paying them, I'm not going to pay them for my videos to get out there. I'm just going to continue to keep doing the hard work. Keep making the lives and stuff. Keep talking about the case. And it'll catch hold, you know. But I'm going to put a lot more shorts out there than ever before. And so I'm off all of this week. And this is what I've been doing in the background and stuff. You know, I've been working on slideshows and different things and stuff, man. Get the word out there, people. That Zaria Walls was Kenneka Jenkins' best friend. And that she had no ill will towards her. No ill intentions or anything like that. And we're just going to dispel the myth that Trey Gay and all of these other hilarious and nefarious YouTubers be putting out there about this deceased girl. Zaria Walls was Kenneka Jenkins' best friend. And as you can see in the video right there, people, there is Monifa. So where is Shemaya, Irene, and Bree. Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found, peoples. So let's go get back into this video, peoples, because as you can see, they're celebrating the life of Kenneka. And that's what True Friends does. Celebrate the life and legacy of their friend, Kenneka Jenkins. And I see my friend had came in. Hello, Arnold Lamar. How are you, my friend? It is a blessing to see you on this morning. Arnold Lamar says, yo, sup Ed, how you been? I have been absolutely wonderful. I'm just sitting back, relaxing, and just shooting my shot. Playing the videos and letting the people see for themselves that the madness that these other YouTubers be putting out, you know, it ain't nothing but a bunch of lies. And flies sit on it because it ain't nothing but a bunch of shit. And so let's get in, people, and let's show the people who Zahrie was to Kenneka Jenkins. That was her best friend. Let's go. And see, as you can see, peoples, you know, she has an iPhone and, you know, they're there and they're just sitting there just laughing and driving and crunking and doing what they do. Because that's what they do, peoples. You know, and that's what they do. And all they're doing is just sitting there celebrating the life and the legacy of Kenneka Jenkins. Because see, that's what Kenneka had did at one point, peoples. With them, with Zahrie, with Monifa, and others. And see, you can clearly see, peoples, look. Monifa and the young lady has the same type of hairstyle. You know, the part in the head and the ponytail coming down and things. And you can see Monifa wasn't as big as she is now. Do you understand? So this was back in their little younger days and all. And as you can see, Monique was dancing just like Kenneka would have, you know. So for anybody to think that Zahrie Walls had went to the establishment to go and put on makeup on Kenneka, as Kenneka lie and stay inside the freezer, people, that is just so plain crazy. It is so plain crazy. And see, for you to even say that or even think of that and stuff, but then I just have to call you hilarious and nefarious, because the bottom line is you have no evidence whatsoever. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have no evidence whatsoever. And to continue to keep spreading this salacious madness with no evidence. See, it'd be one thing if you had a picture of Zahrie Walls ever being at the establishment. That's one thing. But you don't have a picture. You don't even have a video of Zahrie Walls ever at Crown Plaza. And then you don't even have no video, no pictures whatsoever of Zahrie Walls walking into the establishment with a makeup kit, with a hair kit, with any type of hair products whatsoever. And then thirdly, why would Zahrie Walls want to go and put on makeup on Kenneka inside the freezer while she's lying deceased in state, peoples? That doesn't make no sense. It really doesn't make no sense. And so when people want to come and they want to go ahead and they spread that salacious madness, well then Edward Joseph is going to be right there, and I'm going to be on your ass, and I'm going to call you out for the nefarious bullshit and madness that you're speaking in this particular case. Now, Kenneka is not here to defend herself. Zahrie Walls is not here to defend herself. But Edward Joseph is. And as long as I have breath in my body, peoples, I am going to defend these ladies' honor. Because, again, peoples, again, clear as daylight, peoples, you can't tell me unequivocally and undeniably that Zahrie Walls had put on any type of makeup on Kenneka while she was lying in state in the freezer. That is the most stupidest thing that I have ever heard. And you guys sit over there and you guys listen to Trey Gay's madness. And then you guys want to come and you want to try to spread that around to other channels. But you're not going to do it here. Not here. Not while I am the captain of this ship. And not while I am talking about this particular case. No, it will not be allowed, peoples. You can't come in this house with that hilarious and nefarious bullshit and madness. It's crazy to me, peoples. It's really crazy how and why people even think of such. It just doesn't make no sense. And so my thing is simply this, peoples. If you can't make sense out of nonsense, well then it ain't no sense of you even coming to my channel, even trying to chime out in any way, shape, form, or another. Because I will be on your ass as white is on rice. And rice is white. But I'm not going to be nice, peoples. I'm going to call you out for the nefarious bullshit and madness that you speak. Now, peoples, let's sit back and let's finish watching this live. And let's finish watching these girls celebrate the life, the love, and the legacy of their dear friend, Kenneka Jenkins. Let's go. And so there you have it, peoples. Zahrie Walls and Kenneka Jenkins, peoples. That was her best friend. As you can see, no reason for Zahrie Walls to set up Kenneka in any way, shape, form, or fashion. That was her best friend. She loved Kenneka. That's why she had Kenneka's name tattooed upon her chest, so she can be able to remember her for all eternity. And so now Zahrie Walls is not here, and Kenneka Jenkins is not here, and so maybe in the spirit they hooked up and connecting that bond for all eternity. As I say, people, two tragedies right here, two deaths, senseless killings, and for what? Well, people, that's all that I have for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. The tour says the same. I have to tend to this cough, and it's beginning to get a little worse the more that I talk. So I'm going to take this medicine, I'm going to lay down, and hopefully it subside by morning time. But as you can see, peoples, that's Kenneka Jenkins and Zahrie Walls right there. Best friends for life. And best friends in death. And so, peoples, I hope I had said something to encourage your hearts upon today. Tune in again next time to an Edward Joseph Let's Talk Live. Edward Joseph Kitchen. Edward Joseph Gospel Hour. Edward Joseph's Blessings Giveaway 2025 will come to you with something wonderful. I love you with the love of Christ, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Peoples, mask up and be safe. And again, peoples, as you can see, Monifa was around. Monifa was there. And so when the people say that Monifa wasn't around Kenneka, oh yes, she was. Monifa was around Kenneka, and Monifa was around Zahrie Walls. Monifa was there. And so when they tried to blame Monifa, well, then they should have blamed themselves, because see, the thing is, Monifa is still around, and Monifa still came to the gravesite. Did you see Bree, Shemaiah, and Irene go to the gravesite, peoples? Did you? You didn't. And so action speaks louder than any words that anybody can ever try to say. I try to convey. Until then, peoples, you guys be blessed and get your rest. And if the Lord says the same, peoples, I will see you on tomorrow. And we will go a little deeper, harder, and heavier in the Kenneka Jenkins case and the Zahrie Walls case as well, peoples. Until then, peoples, God bless you all. Thank you for watching. And so, peoples, that's all that I have for right now. I'll be back later on today, peoples. I'll be back in another live about Kenneka Jenkins. Until then, peoples, you guys be blessed and get your rest. Enjoy this day, and happy Labor Day upon tomorrow. There's some things that I have to do now, and I'll be back, peoples. I'll be back. I'll be back within a few hours from now and stuff, and we will be back in we will be back live. Until then, people, understand one important factor. Kenneka Jenkins was Zahrie Wall's best friend. And Zahrie Walls was Kenneka Jenkins' best friend. And it is my humblest opinion that Zahrie Walls never was at the establishment to dress up or make up Kenneka Jenkins while she lied deceased in a freezer. Never did, peoples. And for the ones who believe that, my stance is simply this: prove it. Prove it. Instead of listening to Trey Gay, prove it. Prove that Zahrie Walls was ever at the establishment. Show me a picture, a video, anything that indicates that Zahrie Walls was at the establishment. And then not only show me the picture or video that she was there, but show me any evidence that she has brought with her to prove that she was there to do makeup upon Kenneka Jenkins. Because see, people, that is such a salacious allegation. And that is just crazy to me that any of you would believe that madness after this girl had her name tattooed upon her chest. These are two friends for life. And these are two friends forever in death. Peoples, Kenneka Jenkins, and Zahrie Walls. So peoples, I hope I had said something to encourage your hearts upon today. Tune in again later on to an Edward Joseph Let's Talk Live, Edward Joseph Kitchen, Edward Joseph Gospel Hour, Edward Joseph's Blessings Giveaway 2025 will come to you with something wonderful. I love you with the love of Christ, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Peoples, mask up and be safe. And again, peoples, if the Lord says the same, I'll be back up on here live in a few hours. But until then, you guys be blessed and get some rest. And again, if the Lord says the same, I'll see you soon, peoples. So, God bless you all. Thank you for watching.
Nobody does it better. Sometimes I wish